My name's Khalil, and welcome to Someone Lives Here podcast. I'm joined here by Rick. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. And what's so? How long have you been at a Better Tent City?
I've been here pretty much since the beginning of it, almost 3 years, about 3 years.
So when they first started, like you moved with them to
Yeah,
to this site.
yeah. We started off just down the street here at Lot 42.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And yeah. So what? How did you end up at a Better Tent City?
Well, I met Nadine. She had a convenience store downtown,
Yeah.
and I met her through her store. I had a few friends that were kind of hanging out down there at night and stuff like this to get in out of the cold and whatnot. And I used to go down there just to say hi and visit them and whatnot. And when the COVID hit, I had just left the apartment I was in, and we were staying at the Y. And I came over here with a friend of mine one night to see a couple buddies of his and bring some bike parts over for him.
Yeah.
And I started talking to Nadine, and I never left. She said, "Hey, we've got one tent available if you want to stay here." She said, "You're more than welcome. We'd like to have you." Been here ever since.
Okay. And where were you staying before you got here?
Um, just the different shelters that the House of Friendship had.
Yeah.
We were at the Y for a while, and when they closed that down, we ended up at the Radisson. Or I'm sorry, no, I was at the Radisson first, and then we moved to the Y.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how long do you think you've been like unhoused?
Unhoused,
Yeah.
close to 4 years.
Okay. And that's
Uh,
before coming to a better
yeah,
density.
yeah.
Yeah. And did you ever stay outside in like a tent?
Yeah, I've spent a couple seasons in a tent. I've been just kind of couch surfing for a year or two, and because the apartment I was in, it was more or less a rooming house. They were renting out rooms in the apartment itself, and a few undesirables got in there and kind of caused a bit of havoc. So I got out of there and went to the House of Friendship to find out it was closed because of COVID. And then I ended up at the motel that the House of Friendship had taken over.
Okay. And I guess when you're staying outside, like how long would you say you're staying like just outside?
Outside,
Yeah.
all in total, probably 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been like in the bush in a tent and had the not the police
Whatever bylaw.
bylaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, show up like 2 o'clock in the morning and say, "Hey, you got 12 hours to get out of here." Go back the next day, and your tent be knocked down, the pole's gone, all your crap gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did a day look like for you when you were staying in the tent?
Well, when I was in the tent, I was pretty hard into the drugs and that. So I'd wake up in the morning. That was my life. Like you wake up and get out there and try to make a few bucks somewhere and hustle a few dollars to get your fix for the day. And
Yeah.
if you weren't looking for it, you were sitting back just trying to enjoy it for an hour or two. But yeah, it was pretty quiet, pretty lonely, but you know, I'm not the only one out there. And it seems like over the past 3, 4 years, like Kitchener has gotten outrageous with homeless people. You know, like I can remember when I first started staying on the street and whatnot. You know, you knew a few dozen people, but now it's like we've got 100 people here at a time.
Okay. It's just you see it becoming worse.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Like I mean, who can afford the rent? You're paying almost $2,000 for an apartment. I'm on ODSP and I'm only getting 1,100 a month.
Yeah.
Where do you come up with the rent? I'm lucky I get subsidized rent, but you still got to eat. You got to clothe yourself.
Yeah, it's tough. It's no, I guess it's impossible in a lot of yeah.
my income right now is what I used to spend in a month on coffee when I was self-employed. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's hard. What? So what does? So I guess you're saying you stayed at the Radisson and you stayed at the House of Friendship.
Yeah.
How did you find staying in a shelter compared to staying outside?
Well, the House of Friendship was nice. I got to know the staff pretty good because I was in and out of there like mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the staff there were amazing. A lot of them now work with groups like Sanguine, the medical bus that was here earlier, and I still see them like weekly, pretty much. So they're pretty much like family to me.
That's nice. And you didn't find? Did you ever get kicked out or
No.
no? So whenever you left the shelter, it's just because you felt like going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just get away from break. Well, they only allow you to stay there for like 3 weeks or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then what happens after?
And then you have to get on to the next one, or
Like they just move you to another place.
they have another shelter out in Cambridge, so you just kind of migrate back and forth, right?
Why did they do that?
To allow everybody a chance to get in out of the cold, more or
Okay.
less.
Yeah.
Because they only had housing for so many, right?
Yeah. And I guess when you're staying outside, you didn't stay like near other people. You're sort of on your own.
Pretty much, yeah. You find if you camp with a group, you'd think it'd be more secure, but there's more chance of your stuff disappearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of find a spot out where nobody knows about, and make sure nobody sees you coming and going. And
Yeah. And I guess now that you're at a better intensity, how do you find like having the community around you here?
oh, this place is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a bit rough in the beginning, and I don't know. I guess you got to get rid of a few bad apples, or somebody's always there to cause problems. But I don't know. The ones that are here now, we've kind of thinned down to, and a lot of us have been here since the start.
Okay.
So we've become pretty tight.
That's nice. What does a day look like for you here? Like when you wake up in the morning, like what does a day, like the whole day look like?
Personally, I just don't think about it.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, I mean, less than 10 years ago, I was self-employed, making $200,000 a year. I had the wife and kids there, and like in a blink of an eye, it was all gone. And if I sit back and dwell on it, you lose your mind. So I just get up every morning and take the day for the day and take it how it goes.
Yeah. And I guess with that, maybe you don't think about making any major plans in the future?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I'm pushing 60.
Yeah.
It's not that far off. So I just live every day for the day.
That's nice. I guess when you're staying outside, I'm just curious, like how many police interactions would you say you sort of had? And if you don't feel like answering, that's fine.
Personally,
Yeah.
very few.
Very few.
Yeah.
And that's like you're staying kind of remote
Yeah.
when you're outside.
There was once or twice I got caught sleeping in a vehicle in some car lot somewhere or something.
Yeah.
You get kicked out and on you go.
Okay. And what's your favorite part about being here?
I don't know. I think it's just having the company around, other people here to mingle with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Nadine's great. Like, she's all heart. I mean, she's got a heart of gold. They do everything for you here. You couldn't ask for any better than what they've got it here. A lot of people still sit back and bitch and complain about everything, but when you think about it, there's nothing really to complain about. You got a roof over your head, it's secure, you lock your stuff up. Your meals are supplied for you. Donations, you get everything down to your shoes if you need them. But I don't know, I just like being around. Like, these are people I've been hanging with for years. some of them, and like I said, they're more like family than anything. I mean, we have our squabbles. Yeah, I fought with my brother for almost 20 years.
Yeah,
But when push comes to shove, everybody's there for each other.
that's nice. I guess with us doing this podcast, the hope is, yeah, a lot of people will hopefully see this, and I don't know, it's like an opportunity to share an understanding that maybe there usually isn't for someone that's just like tuning in. And yeah, if you had anything that you wanted to say to someone that would be seeing this, like what would that be?
I don't know. Don't look down on these people. Some people come by and they wouldn't cross the property here to save their lives. Everybody's an outlaw here. It's the bottom of the barrel. They're all drug addicts and junkies, and they're not. These are people that have had a hard turn in their luck, and a lot of them are here not by choice. I'll guarantee you. But it's a card that life dealt out, and you gotta play it. But some of these people, a lot of them help you do anything. They take the shirt out of their back and give you. But like I said, they've run into the problems, and this is where life put you.
Okay.
There's a lot out there working today. They're only one paycheck away from where I am today.
Yeah.
Like I said, 10 years ago, I was making over $200,000 a year. I always had money in my pocket. I had 3 vehicles going. I never looked at the price of things when I bought it. Now I got to dig in my pocket for change if I want to go out for a coffee sometime. But I don't, I don't sit around and mope and cry about it. There's other things to do than sit around and drink coffee. I do a lot of bike riding.
Oh, that's fucking fun. That's awesome.
My ex and I split up, and I watched her walk out the door with my 2 boys, and I figured that's what I had been working so hard for, and I want to give them a nice life, not myself. And when they left, it's, well, why am I working all these hours? Within 2 months, my wife and kids walked out the door. My dad died with cancer. The house I had just taken every cent that I had and put a down payment on was repoed by the bank from the landlord because I guess he declared bankruptcy, and he had 2 properties, and mine was one that was going. And one thing just led to another, and finally I just gave up. I said, it ain't worth this. But I've come to accept, like I said, the card that life dealt me, and get on with things. There's more to life than money. I don't look for the shiny things anymore. I look for what I need. And everything else is from in here. And that's what means the most to me. I think that's the biggest thing here. Like, you look for people that are real. Everybody tries to put on a show, make themselves out to be so much more than they are, or so much different than what the real person is.
Yeah.
And when you find somebody who's real and, are secure with themselves, you notice it, and they kind of stick out to you. So that's the ones you cling to. And I'm as real as you get, believe me. Yeah. But yeah, all that in a couple months, it's pretty rough on a guy.
You still have contact with your ex-wife and kids?
Not in quite a while.
Yeah.
I got into the drugs, and I told her I just wanted to stay back for a couple of years. And then I got off the drugs, and I was clean and tried seeing the kids, and she was kind of leveraged against me every time we'd have a disagreement. And then everything just fell apart.
Yeah.
All in time. Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, I guess I did want to end the interview just because I'm pouring sweat.
It's a little toasty.
It is, but yeah. Thanks for being here.
Hey, really appreciate it.